dudes, it's Demi, and today I am taking you on a tour of Disney's Pop Century Resort. We're gonna see the entire resort. We're gonna see the room, the pools, the activities, the dining, the shopping, all of it. So let's get into it. Let's go get into some hijinks. Disney's Pop Century Resort is a value resort, so it's gonna be on the lower end of the spectrum of cost if you want to stay on Disney property. The theming here are the last 5 years of the 20th century, so there are 5 sections of this resort and each is themed after a different decade. So you have the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. When you first enter the resort, you're gonna head into Classic Hall. So there's no rooms in Classic Hall. This is where guest services is, this is where some dining and food locations are. And this is also where you'll walk through to get to your bus transportation. Now, what's so cool about Pop Century, well, there's a lot of cool things, but it is a value resort and it is on the Disney Skyliner, which connects you to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Caribbean Beach Resort, the Riviera Resort. You can go from the Epcot exit to the boardwalk and you can walk across to Art of Animation. So there's a lot of extra resort options if you want to do some resort hopping. I think it's so cool that is part of a value resort perk, because usually value resorts are just bus service. So after you walk into Classic Hall, you have your guest services area or your check-in area. What's really cool about the Disney resorts is that you can check in on the My Disney Experience app. They actually are encouraging it. And you check in and you go straight to your room. And you can do this, I don't know exactly how many days before it, but they're going to notify you and you can check in days in advance and you can tell what time you want to check in. And that way, when I did it, my room was ready for me when I got here because they knew I was coming earlier than 3 o'clock, which is the actual check-in time. On the back wall where guest services / check-in is are these really awesome memorabilia throughout the 20th century. It goes, oh look here, we even have some Disneyland memorabilia. This is so cool. I take a second, come over here and take a walk and see all this really cool stuff. Here's some stuff from Saturday Night Fever, Rocky Horror, my favorite, and Star Wars. Oh my God, I have this. I have this at home. I actually have this. That is amazing. That is so cool. See, you find really cool things over here. Definitely take a second and come look at it all. There's also a caricature booth here, but it is not open and there's no sign of when it will reopen or when it will be open. Across from guest services is Everything Pop. This is where you're gonna come for your shopping and your dining. Let's head inside. When you first walk in, you have your merchandise and you have some exclusive Pop Century merchandise. I love that. They also have it as a pin and a keychain and an ornament. So that's it on all the Pop Century merch, but you can get some Disney merch here as well. Plus what's really cool is over here is there a snack section, which is great for you if you want to bring some snacks into your room. Very important, all the way in the back corner is your little drugstore area. This is also good if you forgot or if you need more sunblock, if you need some extra pool equipment. Really important to know where this is. Also very important to people over 21. You can buy a bottle of alcohol here and bring it back to your room. In the back of Everything Pop is the cafeteria area. So there is no full service dining here, but there are a good amount of menu items here, a little quick service. They have some pizza, they have some burgers, they have some chicken strips, there's some salads, kind of basic food, but it is here. Especially if you're doing a pool day, it's probably really good, really easy. They are encouraging mobile order. So you're gonna go to the My Disney Experience app for that and place your mobile order, and then you're gonna pick it up here and it's all ready for you. Everything Pop is also home to the very famous tie-dye cheesecake, and this is the only place that you can get it. Or you can make it at home with my recipe. I will link it here for you. If you're planning a resort day and you like anything that would be in this self-serve fountain soda area, including Powerade and lemonade and vitamin water, they do have a refillable mug for $20, but you can only use it at the resort. You cannot bring it to the park. And here are the refillable mugs. You can do Mickey or you can do Buzz Lightyear. If you're into pressed pennies, they do have a pressed penny machine here for 51 cents each, or if you're really into Pop Century, come over here and get a pressed quarter of Mickey with Pop Century on it for $1.25. That's actually really cool. Back in the main hallway, and in the back corner we have some restrooms, and then we have the Fast Forward arcade. This is a huge arcade. There's pinball, driving games, a giant Space Invaders. I mean, it goes all the way to the back. To be honest with you, I wanted to say this is your kid's dream, but it's kind of my dream too, because I love an arcade. I mean, look, they even have a Pac-Man Battle Royale. This is awesome. What's so cool is that if you're not staying here at Pop Century, you can still come and hang out at this arcade. You can still come and hang out at Everything Pop. The only thing you can't do is go into a room, obviously, and go into the pools. But just Disney resorts are really fun to come and hang out at, and I really recommend, you know, maybe doing like a resort hop day one day and checking them all out. Wait, I noticed on my way out that they do the ID dog tags here. This is a really cool, like, fun souvenir that you can take home for your poochies. All right, time to head outside. So when you leave Classic Hall in the back, you are entering the 60s. As I said before, there are different sections of the resort, and each are themed after either the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. And when you first walk out, it's the 60s, and this is like the main pool. This is the Hippy Dippy pool, and this is also where you're gonna find your pool activities. So as you can see, everything is very over the top here at Pop Century. You're gonna see like really big statues everywhere. It's really cool, like that big statue of Baloo. There's like these really cool cutouts that go all the way to the top of the buildings. And this is the Hippy Dippy pool. This is the main pool, and it's a lot of fun. Lots of great music playing. You got the little showers happening that goes into the pool. But there are 3 pools. So if you don't really like this loud, you know, the big loud pool, there are some quieter pools for you here. However, if you like to lounge by the pool with a drink, this is the place to do it, because this is the Petals Pool Bar, and it's only here by the Hippy Dippy pool. There's no other pool bar. And here you can get some wine and beer, other cocktails. You can do frozen drinks. And if you want to keep your drink cold, you can even get a Pop Century Resort koozie. They have ping pong here. Attached to Petals is the outdoor restrooms for this pool, and this is the guest laundry for people staying in the 60s and the 70s. For room requests, if you're looking to stay close to the Skyliner, the closest rooms are gonna be in the 60s or 70s. But just remember, if you're staying in the 60s, you might have the loud noises of the Hippy Dippy pool. If you're staying in the 80s and 90s, you're gonna definitely have a way more quiet experience, but it's definitely the furthest away from the Skyliner. It's not far, but it's the furthest away. And the 50s is a little bit closer than the 80s and 90s, and they do have their own pool, the 50s, the bowling pin pool, and it's not nearly as loud as the Hippy Dippy pool, but it still plays music, still could get a little loud maybe on a different day. So think about all those things when you're thinking about what room you want. Also, the 60s is closest to Classic Hall and bus transportation. So just keep all that in mind when you're booking your room. Pool hours are from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. As I said, this is the Hippy Dippy pool, and this is where all the poolside activities are, because this is the main pool. We're gonna see the bowling pool over in the 50s section and the computer pool over in the 80s and 90s section. For recreation on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you can, for a little extra money, do a Mickey tie-dye. Included in your stay every night at 6:30, you can go to the Groovy Campfire. It's located by Surfer Goofy, and we'll see him in a few seconds, or minutes, however long it takes. And then they have the arcade, as we saw before. And then every night here at the Hippy Dippy pool, you do the movie Under the Stars, and they list what Disney movie they're playing, and you watch it outside on a big screen, and it's really fun. So behind the Hippy Dippy pool is the resort's kiddie pool, and if you keep taking this path, you're gonna hit the Skyliner and the bridge to go to Disney's Art of Animation. But we're gonna head back toward the pop sign, because we're gonna go see a few of the other decades here at the resort and the room. So we were just over there, we took this path down, and here's Surfer Goofy. This is where the campfire is gonna happen. We have made it to the 70s. We have a giant Mickey with the telephone and the amazing, the huge foosball field. It is just absolutely so cool here. Such a great photo op. Plus the gigantic gigantic big wheel. Back over by the big wheel, I'm gonna scoot through this little pathway here. So if you go down that path, behind the trees is this playground. This is so great to have, especially if you get a room like right here. Like imagine your room was right here and you had kids and they have their own playground right here. How cool is that? This is really cool. Over here in the corner, you have a game of Twister. So this is actually a little bit matted so that you can play and not get hurt, but this is so cool that this is built in. Walk down all the way to the end, and greeting us into the 80s and 90s is Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head and these really, really cool big Rubik's Cubes. So start heading inside, and now you can see some 80s facts as you're walking through. And here's our building, Building 7. Real quick, if you go this way, if you follow the path this way, so to the right of the Potato Heads, is the path to the Skyliner. Here is my building, Building 7, where my room is. This is awesome. I love Roger Rabbit, one of my favorite movies of all time. So this pink building and this pink building is the 80s. You can see Pac-Man, Walkman, and then that big blue one is the 90s with the giant computer. And here's an even bigger computer because this is the computer pool. This is, it's actually much bigger than it looks like on the map. It looks like a really small pool. This is a big, big pool. It's not as big as the Hippy Dippy pool, I don't believe, but you do have a private pool here. It looks like it's already closed for the day. I just saw people exit, but this is really good to have. You don't have to go too far. This pool is open from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. I think they just closed slightly for maintenance. So that's just a little blip today. So even though these are motel style rooms where the door is on the outside and you just walk right in, they do have elevators here. They have some luggage carts. So don't worry about if you can't, if you thought this was just stairs, there are 2 elevators at this building particularly. I'm not sure about everything else, but there's always an elevator for you. Got very lucky. My room is very close to the elevator. Just got to turn the corner. And here it is. All right, let's go inside. So you can either use your magic band or your phone. Whoops, come on, to open the door. Yay. First impressions walking in, it's definitely a small hotel room, but I do love all the recent renovation changes that they made, including this vinyl floor instead of carpeting. But, you know, just like the best part of every Disney World resort when you first walk in, seeing that, you know, it really just gets you all hyped up. So when you walk in, you have the light switch right there by the door. You have your little window with some curtains and your blackout curtains. Over here is temperature control. It was at 72 when I walked in and I just moved it to 68. Next, we have our little kitchen area. You have your ice bucket, you have your coffee and your tea. This is where you can get that Joffrey's in-room coffee that you can only get if you stay at a Disney resort, which I think is really cool, and I'm definitely gonna be brewing some in a few minutes. There's a nice light here. It gives you some extra light by the coffee bar. They have this drawer. I mean, you can use it for kitchen items or whatever you want. It's nice to have a little extra storage space. And then you have your little mini fridge, and I think it's really cool that you can see kind of through it, though there is no door storage like in some mini fridges. Something easy to miss is in between the wall and the little coffee area is the luggage rack. I guess you can put that luggage rack there, but I just put my stuff like that. There's a couple of garbage cans over here and a nice big light. Of course, you have your big TV with my favorite thing ever playing on it, and a pretty decent sized dresser. You have 3 decent sized drawers. They're pretty wide. They're not like the deepest drawers I've seen, but they're nice and wide. And then next to it is your little cabinet space for shelves. And you also have your safe in here. Disney wants you to know that they are doing enhanced cleaning. Your remote is even cleaned and wrapped up, which I appreciate. And you got a little guide to the theme parks here as well. Next to the TV, which I love, are these hooks. And let me tell you something, when you live in a small space, hooks are everything. Turning around, we have our bed. This is a queen size bed, and there's lots of room for storage underneath the bed, which I'm so glad that they did that. And then above it, we have this great poster of Mickey. We have some reading lights here, which each side controls their own light, which I think is really great. My favorite part about this room with the renovation are these floating shelves, because it's a floating shelf and it has a little more extra storage, and floating shelves are really great in small spaces. On the left side of the bed is the phone. And over here, you have a little table. And if you're like, why is there another floating shelf over here? Well, this is also a bed. It's a Murphy bed, and I'm really excited to open it up. I will say, if you're not using the Murphy bed, I think this is a really great little area to have for yourself. You can even store some things under the table. But I'm gonna now move the chairs, because you have to move the chairs. I don't know where I'm gonna put the chairs. I guess maybe that spot is for the chairs, but I'm gonna just move it here for now. And we're gonna open up this Murphy bed. Super easy to take down, very, very easy. Plus, if you're leaving this down, you can have all the storage underneath the bed. I love this poster of Pluto. He's so cute. There's a light above the bed here, which turns on that light. And then if you come over here, this light turns on a light above the bed. There is really, really great light in here. That is, I think, like the best compliment of the room. Like, as much as the room is very cool, a lot of hotel rooms I can find being very dark, and there's just an extraordinary amount of light in here. So I put the chairs over here for now. I think if you're like a group of 4, this could definitely get very tight. Especially if your luggage is here or the chairs are here, then your luggage is there. It's, I guess they really want you to utilize that under the bed space. But just be aware, especially if you're trying to save money and doing an adult trip and you have 4 adults in here, it's a tight space. I mean, for me personally, I don't spend that much time in rooms, so I think it's fine, but just be aware that it's a little tight. Let's head on into the bathroom. There's this great sliding door that closes off the entire bathroom itself. I really appreciate that the sink is separate from the toilet in here. However, the shower and the toilet are in one. When you first walk in, you actually have a little closet area. That is my only, I wish there was a little more closet space. There's definitely good storage space here, but I like hanging my clothes, and if I was with a group of people, this just wouldn't be enough for me. I would make it work, but I'm just saying, I think that I wish they would maybe have done something over here for extra hanging space. I love the hooks, but maybe there could have been something else, but whatever. It's still nice. There's a towel here. We have some cubby storage. On the wall is your ironing rack. And then over here we have some more storage. You have some extra tissues and toilet paper. You have this little cubby in here, and that's where you're gonna find your iron and actually a decent hair dryer. It's like a full-blown big Conair hair dryer. So that's really nice. Underneath, another little shelf space, a couple of towels. Here is the rest of the vanity. We have some big cubby storage here, some cubby storage underneath the sink. We have a couple of hanging towels, a nice big sink, some tissues, a H2O sea salt facial soap, very, very nice. You have what is it called again? The magnifying mirror. So if you want to see, how great you look after a day at the park, be my guest. I ain't doing it. And then you have a really nice big mirror here, and the mirror has some light around it. Hello. I think it looks so nice. I think there's a lot of space in this little area where you can definitely get ready. And I love that it's separate from the toilet. Ooh, I was closing the door and I did not know there is a full-length mirror when you close the bathroom door to the toilet. So in the bathroom, we have a couple of towels, we have extra toilet paper, your toilet, a garbage can, we have another towel here, we have 2 more towels here, we have an extra hook right here, and then we have a shower tub, which is great because I know that Disney has been kind of taking away some of the tubs, and a lot of parents get a little upset with that because they want to put their kids in the bath. But this one is a shower and a tub, and looks really nice. You have this extra little space here. You have the Disney H2O products, and recently, if you are not aware, they have switched over to the reusable pumps to save on plastic bottles. This is a sliding glass door, and it goes really nice and easy. You can tell it's very new. You have like a little rain head sort of, and you have the little hose. Plus, again, you can use this as a bath, which is great. Decent pressure, and look, you can have both hoses at the same time. That's very interesting. Or, of course, you can have one at a time. And now it's time for my favorite segment of any resort tour, the outlet sitch. As you know, outlets are very important to us. Keeps our devices alive. So we're gonna count everything up. We're gonna see how many outlets there are, and we're gonna see if it gets the Hijinx seal of approval, especially with this new, renovation. I believe they added a bunch of outlets, so I'm curious to see how many there are. I have a good feeling this room is gonna do pretty well. So far we have 2 regular outlets, 2 USB on the first floating shelf. Over here by the coffee maker, we have 2 more regular outlets. Over here, we have 2 more outlets. On the dresser, we have 2 more outlets and 2 USBs. Another 2 more outlets, 2 USBs. And by the hooks, we have 2 more outlets. Back to the floating shelves, we have 2 more outlets, 2 USBs. The last floating shelf, again, 2 outlets, 2 USBs. And then finally, in the vanity area, we have 2 more regular outlets. There are no outlets in the actual bathroom. Wow. Okay, so there are 18 regular outlets and 10 USB ports for a total of 28 charging stations. That is amazing. That is so great. I'm so glad that this renovation happened. This was so needed. And this is 100% getting the Hijinx seal of approval. Forgot to mention, the reason why there looks like 1,000 pillows on here is because some of the pillows are meant for this bed. And we also forgot to do one other thing. First impressions, very comfortable. I'll let you know what I think of it after I sleep in it, but there's another bed. I think it's comfortable, but I will say I think the quality on the regular bed is better. Maybe, because I'm staying 2 nights, maybe one night I'll sleep in this one, and I'll let you know how comfortable it is or not. Okay, we're back by the giant pop sign. Now we're going to go, if you're staring at the pop sign, toward the left, toward the 50s and the Skyliner. Here's something good to know. When you see the giant 50, here's where you can rent some scooters. All right, if you see the giant bowling pins, you know you are heading into the 50s. Here in the 50s, Lady and the Tramp are here to greet you. They are ginormous. And then this is the bowling pin pool. This is a really cool pool. They're playing some really fun 50s music. You have a giant jukebox over there. And I really love just the whole kind of like vibe of it. It's like really chill over here compared to the hippy dippy pool. Unfortunately, you cannot actually bowl here. These don't move. Over in the back, this little building here is the outdoor restrooms, and it's also the 50s laundry area. Made it to the back of the pool, and we're going to walk this way, and you can kind of see it in the distance, heading toward the Skyliner. Got to the end, making a left, and this is the Skyliner station for not just Pop Century, but for also Art of Animation. What's really cool about staying here or at Art of Animation is that these resorts are right next door, and you take the bridge over there, and you can walk to each resort. Now, you can't use each resort's pool. So if you're staying at Pop, you can't use Animation's pool and vice versa. But you can go over and check out, maybe their shopping or dining, or you can take the Skyliner to Caribbean Beach or Riviera, or to the Epcot Boardwalk for some other resort options. That is the path we just walked up. That is the path back toward the room, toward the 80s and 90s, and right down that path is back into the 60s and the hippy dippy pool. And now, here is the bridge. So if you walk straight down through the hippy dippy pool, you'll hit the bridge and you can walk over to Art of Animation or take the Skyliner. So the Skyliner is actually down right now due to lightning because it is about to rain. I will say in the morning, it gets very, very backed up here. So just be prepared to wait or come super, super early if you're heading into one of the parks, because it could take up to more than a half hour just to get onto the Skyliner in the mornings. So just keep that in mind. Real quick, I didn't even know this. There's a running trail, like a specific running trail, and I did see some people running, but you're gonna follow this this route, and it's 1.3 miles around the lake. That sounds really nice. Well, my dudes, that was Disney's Pop Century Resort. Let me know in the comments if this is a place you would maybe consider staying at, or if you stayed here in the past, what you thought of it, or if maybe this is just a place you want to come visit for a few hours. I want to know all of it, so let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit your bell notification so you don't miss anything that comes on this channel, and follow me on Instagram at Magical Hijinx. Until next time, my dudes, I hope you guys get into some hijinks very, very soon. Bye-bye.